All right. This session is now being recorded. So, just to get started, first things first, this is the SP Management Portal for anyone that hasn't seen it before. This is the link to get to it up here. As well, we can go ahead and, so the first step of what we were just talking about is enabling the ability to perform deposits to e-accounts. So the first thing we're going to do is come to the e-account service portal query here. I'm just going to select edit. And then if I scroll down, we have the option for Transact Customer Deposit right here. We'll go ahead and set that to available. Question, do we want anonymous user deposits? So like parents and things being able to perform
Yes.
deposits as well?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
set that to available. I'm assuming we want safe payment methods to be available. And then Apple Pay and mobile card pay. Do we want to have the functionality of scheduling deposits?
If they choose, yes.
Okay, so that will be available as well. All right, I've got that all added in. Do we need to make any adjustments to the accounts? So just Flex and Lab Print fee, anything
All of that
else?
is solid. That's all correct.
Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and just save them. All right, so as soon as this finishes saving, the deposit functionality will be enabled to the app and the web page. So once this finishes saving, if you want to just go ahead and reload the app and see if the functionality is there at that point now. And then if you wouldn't mind honestly testing it, just to make sure it's all working.
I'm actually I'm gonna log out of the app and log back in because nothing has changed thus far.
Yep.
While I'm still logging in, I have a question. Is there any way I can pull like user reports out of the SP portal? Like I wanted to see how many users have added the app over a certain amount of time.
Um,
I haven't seen
like
any reports, but I was like, maybe I was missing something.
like how many people are using the app?
How many people have downloaded the app? How many people are using the app? Those type of analytics would be really helpful.
The only thing, let me see. I don't think it'll be this, but
And now I see an add money function, and I'm going to test it now.
perfect.
Right now it's reviewing and submitting my request. So I see a little pig putting money into a piggy bank. Deposit submitted. I see it reflected in my Flex account, and I also got a confirmation email that my deposit went through. I think we are good to go.
Perfect. See. So as far as who's using what apps and things like that, I'm not sure if we have any kind of report that might do it. Maybe this e-account portal user list, but no, this wouldn't do it. It's just
Yeah, I was
transaction
looking around and
administration.
I was using the user list and then I was just specifying dates, but I would love to like have an actual report that just kind of spits out that information. So I didn't know if that was even possible.
Unfortunately not. Not with the functionality of how this portal is.
Okay.
And they're not updating it anymore, unfortunately.
Well,
So
well,
it's
aren't I just lucky? And so there's no way of getting it's all just web-based information. There's no way of taking that information and putting it into some type of file format either, it seems like.
correct, unfortunately.
Joy. Okay. Um so the one thing that I'm noticing is I don't see a way on the app to add an authorized user or like to add have someone else add money. So
Yeah,
I
so it's not so through the app you won't have the functionality. It'll be through the
okay.
web page only. And it's not adding an authorized user. Here, let me show you what it'll look like. Do that. So if I come to your e-account page, there's a make a guest deposit here, and then it just requires their email address.
Okay. So but
And we can update this to not be email address if you want it to be something else. But this will be the email address of the person who's receiving the deposit.
oh, but it looks like it's basically a dummy page. So I could almost, as long as the person knows the individual's email address, it'll go to whomever it's associated with.
Correct.
I like that actually.
So
Because
like if I was to put your email address in here, it would associate to your account and then I'd perform the
got
deposit
it.
to it.
Okay. That's really good to know. I like this because I don't have to worry about usernames and passwords now.
Yep. So parents can just go in, put in their student's email address, and it can go directly to the student's account.
That is awesome. Carlos, I will show you that the app interface 101 because Fatu and Billy really don't need to know that side. Okay, this is
Oh,
awesome, Aaron. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
of course. So next up, I'm gonna go over a little bit more. Did you see in that email? Have you already tried logging into Windcave yet?
I
Um,
did, and I set up my account. I don't know if
perfect.
everyone else has yet.
Okay. Um, did anyone else? Did you forward that email to them at all? Like the username
Yes,
and
I
how to do it?
forwarded them the links along with their usernames.
Okay, perfect. Can everyone in the just post in the chat whether they were able to get logged into Windcave or not?
So
And just let me know.
just a quick question, Marcus and Aaron. So we're supposed to have access. So that I'm just trying to figure out how BSO comes into play with this. So when students are requesting uh, an increase, what does this allow us to do? Basically, is what I'm trying to get.
So you guys would have access to the Windcave side where that's
Mm-hmm.
where you can do the reconciliation reports to see how much money has been deposited during a certain time period to the Penguin passes. This part that Aaron is going over now, this transaction portal, this is more so for the IT side, but we had to enable that ability. So the next part where you guys, I should send you guys an email that had a username and then a link so you can create a password to something called Windcave. That's the
Mm-hmm.
side that you guys need to do.
Okay, so we'll need access to that so we can get the reports and then
That is correct.
yeah, that is. We should probably have invited Sadak, not but let me.
And if we have to add, I can add additional users if you want to kind of add people or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Just let me know, and then I can work with Transact to have those accounts created.
Yeah, we go to the email that you sent.
Do you want me to share my screen being logged into WinCave? Would that be easier, Aaron?
Oh no, I can log into Windcave.
Okay, perfect.
Um, I just have access to all of our different accounts though, so I'll filter down to yours. Um, but so the first thing I want to go over is in this portal. Um, So in the event that you have an issue with the deposit where a student's having a problem with it, this is how you can check. What I'm about to go over is how to check what error they got or if they're having issues, what part in the process it failed at. So we come to the report section here, and it's called the Payment Express Gateway Service Transaction Report. Um, and when we select this, we'll load into here. And if we submit the query, um, it'll show us all of the transactions that have occurred today, because the date range is set from 9/12. This is going to take a minute or two to run, just because it has to go and check Windcave and then come back and then display your results here. So I'll just leave it running for a minute. Then it'll come back. And obviously you only have one transaction right now because, well, you just performed the only transaction to the system.
I have the
So,
first one. Yes.
so first and foremost, this transaction result right here is important, because this will show you the actual result of the transaction. So since yours was successful, that means it took the money out of your account, it went ahead and successfully deposited the funds into Transact. Now there's a couple different results you can have from this, and I can just show you the different ones. You have failure, pending, success, and unknown. So failure just means it failed. That's usually going to be something like the transaction got denied for insufficient funds or something like that. Or if it's failed, that means it couldn't connect to the transaction system currently. Um, Now, usually you're probably not going to run into something like that unless there's some sort of system outage or you're having an issue with your transaction system currently. Maybe like a update to the TSE or something like that currently. Those are the only times you should really be receiving failures. Um, Next up is the pending. So that just means the transaction's still pending. It's still going through and trying to perform the transaction. Normally, you'll see that only if someone just submitted their transaction and they're still going through with it right now. Um, and that's really the only time you should see it. Success, pretty self-explanatory. Your transaction was successful. It went through. Then the last one, unknown. So this is the one I was referencing a little bit earlier when I was mentioning if a transaction ends up in an unknown state, that's usually means that the user had a user error while they were going through with their transaction. And how that kind of works is within the web page, when you're submitting a transaction, you have to click submit and then confirm the transaction afterwards. Usually if you get the result of unknown, what that means is somebody clicked the submit transaction, but they didn't click the confirmation button afterwards to actually confirm the transaction. And so that'll be when you end up with a transaction result of unknown. And in that case, when you end up with the unknown result, what you'll need to just tell the student here or tell the student there is that they just need to make sure they're clicking that confirm on the second page that comes up after the submit. So now, let's say we get a failure here and you're not sure why it's failing. Um, what we'll want to do is there's a specific category in here called the TXN ref. So Payment Express Gateway TXN ref. In here, we'll want to just go ahead and copy out this TXN ref if you're wanting to just view a specific transaction and maybe why it failed or anything like that. Then what we'll need to do is come out to Windcave. And my password is expired, so give me 1 second. And we'll come to the transaction search here. And if we're trying to search up a specific transaction, we can put in the TXN ref that I just grabbed, and we can search here. And you're going to see two different line items for these transactions. The first one is your authorization. So how Windcave works is it does pre-authorization against the person's account that's submitting the transaction. That pre-authorization goes ahead and it goes to their account, verifies that they have enough money, and then authorizes the money to be taken out. And then once that is done, it goes back to our system, checks that it can perform the deposit to TSE. Once it's performed the deposit to TSE, it sends a completion on the transaction through afterwards to go ahead and remove the funds out of the account. So in the event, let's say somebody accidentally performs a transaction for like $500 and they meant to only do $50. What you could come in here to do is we can come to the completion transaction. And I don't have, well, I guess I do have it. But what you can do is you'll have a refund option in here. Um, I don't have it because I shouldn't have the ability to refund any institution's transactions. That is something that you guys have to do yourselves. Um, but you guys, if you gave yourselves the permission to refund the transaction, you will have that option in here, and you'll be able to refund the transaction back to the student. So you could refund $450, for example, of that transaction back to them so that they get the money back. As well. If you do that though, what you'll need to make sure and do is contact like Marcus or someone else that has access to the transaction system so they can go ahead and remove that extra $450 off of the student's account as well. Um, just to make sure that, we're being consistent between the both. If you refund their card with a certain amount, make sure you take that money off of their account and transact
Gotcha.
as
So the
well.
deposits will follow through, but refunds done in this system don't correspond to the value that's in Transact. Makes total
Correct.
sense.
Correct. So you'll need to make sure whatever you refund in here, you refund and transact as well. Now, you guys should also, so that's just a transaction search. You can come in here. If you're trying to view the results of transaction and things like that, you can see the result here, approved, whatever other different results you'll get, insufficient funds, denied, various different things that you can get from different credit card processors or different banks and everything too. And the next up is the report section up here at the top left. You can run your standard settlements, full transactions, void those transactions, whatever you want here. Um, if you are wanting to automate any of these reports or have them get sent out on a regular interval, you'll need to put in a ticket to our support team, and then they'll put in a ticket to the Windcave team, and they will go ahead and get that report automated for you. You do have to put in a ticket through our team, then we put in a ticket with them in order to get that report automated for your system. And you'll just need to let them know the name of your group account. And you can see the name of your group account right here under group.
And then, Marcus, are you guys doing the refunding in the example when a student accidentally put in the 500 instead of $50? Are they
No.
coming to you?
So from this point, IT does the troubleshooting on the card itself. If it comes
Mhm.
to a refund, that is dealt with you guys. So that's what Jane kind of does.
It's
So
BSO. Okay.
what I would yeah, Jane on the BSO side. What I would recommend honestly is to not utilize this system to do the refunds, and then it's up to you how you want to do it. Um you could either refund it this way and then get the information to Jane, and she has to do the correction on their accounts themselves on the Transact side, or you could leave the funds there and then actually no, you would either way it is, Jane will still be the one doing the correction because she's the one who's basically doing
Receive the money.
account corrections in Transact on the BSO side. I believe it's Jane and then Diane is her backup.
So essentially, Windcave doesn't interface directly with Transact. If you make it here, you also have to do it there, right? And vice
Correct.
versa. Like the two systems don't talk, right?
Well,
Correct. Well, in a
in a way.
way, yeah.
So
So,
when cable add, so if they make the payments through, if they add value, it'll go from it'll go from WinCave to Transact. But in terms of the refund, that's not feeding back to Transact. So that's why we have to manually do that in the Transact system.
okay, so let's say I'm a student, I want to add money, or my parent want to add money. They log into the system that Aaron just showed earlier. That is what, Windcave, or is that Transact? That is, they log into Transact at that point?
yeah, they're logging into Transact, performing the
Okay.
deposit through Windcave
Mhm.
though. And
Okay,
then
so
once
they
the
log in.
validation comes from Windcave, the deposit goes into Transact.
Got it. So as they log into Transact to make the deposit, right away, Windcave is launched, right? And that's when the deposit that they make into the account goes through, so they don't have to do it in Transact and Windcave. If they log into Transact, making the deposit to the account, it flows through Windcave and it's in Transact. Correct. This was just the,
Correct. So
yeah,
the
okay,
users really don't see anything from
yeah,
Windcave. To them, it's just
got
one
it.
interface. Windcave is
Okay,
working in the background doing things. But
okay, and then
the end result is the user is just seeing what's on the Transact side.
okay, and then for us, we're using Windcave because it's the data repository. So that's where the reports are going to be housed,
It's the credit card processor.
the credit card processor.
Yeah,
Okay,
for our system.
Sorry, I may be asking things that were already. I just want to make sure I understand. And then I see also in the email chain there was Orbis. What is Orbis' role in all of this?
So Orbis is, and I believe what's happening is as they make the deposits to Windcave is adding it to Transact, but it's so that we actually get the value. So the value that they added to the card is so they can use it on campus, so that we can do our reconciliation to say, hey, I'm adding $5 to my card. I want to use it at the coffee cart. So Epicurean is going to come back to us and be like, okay, they did a $5 transaction. You guys need to give me that $5. That's the Orbis side that adds the money to Dominican's account so we can give that back to the vendor that's charging us for it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
It's scary how well I understand this.
It's that there's so many layers. I'm like, that's why I'm asking all this question, because there are three
Mhm.
different vendors, three different names. I'm just making sure that, and now in hindsight, we really should have involved, should have included Sadak. But I'm glad we're recording this. That way, it's available for us. Thank you.
Mhm. At this point, do you feel like I need to go over anything else with the
I
system?
think we're good. I think it would be great to know. I guess will connect with Billy and Fatu to see what type of reports they want regularly and what would be the regular schedule for that and how we want to have those delivered. And then
Mhm.
I can place that ticket with Transact for those specifications for those reports to have those set up. And then like things to think about is okay. And so someone doesn't have to check this system regularly. Do you want a daily report of how much money was basically transferred through the Windcave system? Do you want a weekly report? So those are the type of things that I'm thinking about, and what I need to know specifics from you guys, Fatu and Billy, what you guys want, and then where do you want those reports to go? Because I'm assuming, Aaron, in terms of the delivery of the reports, they don't necessarily have to be individuals that are part of that have Windcave accounts. We could have it set up to like a distribution list, correct?
Correct. You could
Yeah.
set
Okay,
up like an alias that's a distribution list, or you can include multiple email addresses that you want the report sent to.
perfect.
And they're
So how
usually in PDF format, just to let you know.
got it?
Can we
Usually.
Just to
can we
make
request any type of other formats like Excel or
I
XLF?
yeah,
believe you can. I believe you can.
Okay.
yeah, we
Um,
do need Excel. And
So
just to
again,
follow
those
up,
are specs
yeah,
to just let me
CSV or
know, Billy and
PDF.
Fatu. Yeah, Billy and Fatu, and then I can relay that to them and get them working on that for us.
yeah, we need Excel. It's easier for us to manipulate
Yeah.
data that way. And then just the follow up question is, so if I understand correctly, we don't necessarily have to have Windcave to get the reports. There can be an email alias that's sent to us for the reports. But if we need to make any, in the case that we talked about for the refund process, that person will need to have access to Windcave to process that. Correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So then, Marcus, why don't you go ahead and please set up an account for Sadak and Jane, and that way they just have access to. And
Uh,
Billy, can you confirm you're able to log in? I'm able to log into Windcave. I was able to.
uh,
Billy, can you
yeah,
just
yeah,
validate?
I able
You're
to.
able to. You're able to. Perfect. Okay.
My question, Marcus and Aaron, the can you show the bank account the money goes to?
No, because all we have in here is, for example, um, well, yeah, just the account and the acquirer.
So
Unless,
that should have been in the VAR. So you may want to reach out to Rich from Orbis, who was on that other thread about trying to set up that VAR. I would
Hmm.
assume Rich from Orbis would know that information.
Okay,
yeah, I'm just on
yeah,
the
because I
technical
just
side of.
wondering, we looking for $2.50. I didn't see that in the in our bank. That's why I just wondering, is this
Well,
they've been
I
set
believe
up?
they confirmed it went through, and I believe they removed it. It was just a test deposit. So right now, you'd be looking for a dollar deposit, which is a real deposit I made that was
Ah,
sent. So the
yeah.
250 was just to test the delivery to make sure all of the plumbing was correct, and I believe they reversed that.
I don't
Correct.
think we ever confirmed on our side seeing it though. Did we, Marcus?
I believe so. Hold on.
I know
I'll
I
go back to
checked
the
a
email.
couple times and I didn't see it. And I just want to make sure we set up correctly.
Rich had sent out an email from Orbis saying that he saw the
I believe Rich did see
transaction.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, for 250, he saw it.
He saw what? He
And
saw the
he
money.
was able to verify that the deposit was made to the associated bank account, but it was
Okay.
combined with another batch from the same day.
Oh, maybe that's
Oh,
why we
not
didn't see it.
individual. Okay.
Okay, maybe not individual because
That's
we were
why
looking
I
for
couldn't
250.
find it. Yeah.
Um,
So
maybe we can just, and then I guess we know it's coming from the operating account, right? I mean, we can follow up offline with him. But yeah, I think it typically sometimes if it's not an individual transaction, it's lumped up together. And we were looking for, I think, specifically that 250 transaction.
So that sounds like that may be a question for Rich if they can break out those transactions separately for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if he confirmed he got it, we just want to make sure that, yeah,
yeah, because you mentioned a bit less for $2.50. That's why we're looking for $2.50 for a
mhm.
week. That's why we just wondering. That's probably the money goes to somewhere, not to our account. That so I wanted uh, to confirm that the money goes to our checking account.
Yeah, that'll be on
That's definitely on
Rich's side.
the Orbis side, it sounds like to me.
Okay.
Yeah, we just don't want to have an issue once this is up and running. So I think
Regarding the
with,
reports, Aaron,
Mhm.
the ones that we have that we decide that we want to have as scheduled reports, would they also appear as just kind of reports that are here that we could run real time?
Um, Depends on the kind of report. So if
Okay.
they schedule them for you, you can also ask them to add those reports to a specific user record too.
Okay.
Um,
I think we may just do that just in case
okay.
somebody gets the report and they forgot they got it and we need to just run it back again. So I think that would be a good backup for us to have also.
Yeah, make sure. So what you'll need to ask them to do is make sure they add it to the accounts as well, not just only schedule it. Add a different type of an report to the accounts that need
Perfect.
it.
I think I'm good with questions. Billy, Fatu, anything?
yeah, I think it'd be good to follow up on that thing just to triple check that it came from the right account so we know where it's coming out of. And I think it'd be good to um, basically have the two people have access and then I think the refund one is going to be one of them. We may have to go over it one more time just to make sure we're clear on what needs to be done.
So what
Those type
Aaron's
of
gonna do is
transactions.
he's gonna send me the video and I'm gonna upload it to our university YouTube channel, but make it unlisted. So it'll just make it easy for all of us to reference and whomever you want to reference later. So we will have a copy of this and then I'll take care of placing that in a place where it's accessible to all of us.
Perfect. And once you have it ready, just yeah, if you email us, we'll know where it is. That'd be good.
Yep, definitely will.
Okay, and yeah, and if you don't mind getting access to Sadak and then Jane, that'd be great.
So before I do that, I need to meet with you because there are different levels of access. I have them give you and Billy, because you guys are the controller and assistant controller, full access to this system. But I don't know if you want them to have full access or if there's only specific aspects you want them to have. So I'll go over. I have a sheet that they gave me. I'll go over those accesses with you, and then we can make the determinations based off that, and then I can follow up with getting their accounts created.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, thank you.
I think
Thank you.
you're golden, Aaron. You have been extremely helpful. Thank you so much for this walkthrough. It was extremely great to see the Windcave side. I was kind of bouncing around, but I was kind of lost. So it
Mhm.
proved to be extremely helpful just going through different things. And the troubleshooting was amazing.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and then we'll get that out to you here soon.